Hello! How you doing out there? Well, welcome in. Welcome to the channel. This is Wagworks GA, which you probably already do. But I'm Jeff. You can also call me Wags. I'm here to draw. We're going to do some art tonight. Yeah, if you are not familiar with the channel, Wagworks GA is the name of kind of our creative studio that I share with my wife. So she writes, I draw, and together we work on comics, largely kids comics. Yeah, so we do some projects for younger ones, like kindergarten through 5th grade. Those are, we call those CoreToons. We do those with some other awesome comics creators, and those are like short, semi-educational comics. Right now, we're actually making them as part of like a digital magazine, which has been pretty fun this year. We also do, like, we have some pitches and manuscripts for like middle grade, that's like 9 through 12 years old. Graphic novels, and also I like to do slice of life comics. Sorry, excuse me. Slice of life comics, which for everyone. Also video game fan art. If you were here last week, we were celebrating the eve of Pokemon's 30th birthday with some Pokemon fan art and fun. I may keep that illustration. It's not done. I may just keep that in my back pocket. Maybe we could even do a channel points reward to pause things and like add a Pokemon to it. We can do that throughout the year. That's kind of where I'm thinking of going with it. It feels like that would be a pretty good time. Don't mind me just drinking my 10 o'clock coffee. It's good. Yeah. So that's what you'll see here. I'm trying to think if I have any updates for this week. It's been a busy week. We haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to go over the revisions to the CoreToons comic that I've been working on a little bit on stream with Ashley. So that one we'll hold off on tonight, and we're gonna go back to the big giant group D&D illustration, and that one is from our library runs a D&D game, and it's a lot of fun. It's actually how I started playing, even though I've been, I guess, D&D adjacent for a good chunk of my life. Anyway, I decided it would be great to draw an illustration of all the characters in the group. And so what I signed up for is to draw a 23 characters and familiars total. Yeah, a lot of whom, some players had a really good idea of what they wanted their character to look like, and they gave me like detailed descriptions. Other ones like gave me pretty much just like class and race, and I kind of went from there. So it's been a fun project. Everything's penciled. I have characters designed, so now I'm just laying down colors and shading and inking first. So I'm going through one character at a time. So I think I've got one character to shade and highlight. I'll be doing that, and then probably get to inking tonight on the next character. Yeah. It should be good times. But before we go anywhere with that, we're going to do our warm-up, because I work a desk job all day that is not art related. So I don't draw for most of the day. So before I jump in on my main projects for the night, I always like to get a little bit of a warm-up going. So we're going to do that. And I warm up. I used to just draw like sleeping Pokemon that we randomly selected. But my mod, Frank, recommended we do Pokemon fusions, which has been a lot of fun and not as horrifying as I thought it might have been. Of course, I'm not doing some of the ones like some of the automated ones where they like take like the head of one and put it on the body of the other. I'm kind of trying to mix them a little bit more thoughtfully, I guess we go with. But at any rate, to do that, let's go over and switch over to Art View. And I'm using Clip Studio Paint. That is my art program of choice. It's pretty great. And of course, we need our Pokemon to fuse. And since I'm terrible at making decisions, I use the random Pokemon generator. And I just go with whatever it tells me to do. Unless it gives some of the ones that I have tended to like repeat a little bit, in which case I will make adjustments, but we'll see what we get. So I'm going to draw our 2 random Pokemon. These are the guys that we're going to fuse together. Let's see what we get. Okay. Okay. Well, this is interesting. It's in some ways related, in some ways very different. Quite spiky. Quite spiky is what we're gonna get. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear this guy out while I pull up reference real quick. All my artists out there, don't be afraid to use reference. It is helpful. You don't have to know how to draw everything off the top of your head. Just a reminder, although it is usually helpful to look at a lot of reference all at once. That's not what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to be going off just one picture of each because this is the warm-up, and not, you know, the full-on, not a full illustration. Also, in the case of Pokemon, at least, it's, you know, there's not. I'm drawing a very specific thing, so it has to hit the right notes. As long as I'm, and in general, as long as I'm not copying everything wholesale, I feel pretty good about it for my warm-up at least. And I will give the you know, the usual spiel of if you're watching at home, feel free to draw along. I find art to be very fun and very much a stress reliever, kind of a zen activity. If you're drawing at home, you don't have to show it to anyone, or you can show it to everyone. It's really up to you. You don't have to draw the Pokemon. This is just about the good times and doing some art and having fun. So, kind of my usual little disclaimer. And if you are someone who draws a lot anyway, change my font every time. I share my clip installation with one of my kiddos uses it sometimes, and so when they have used it, I find that my tools have all been changed and my colors have all been changed, and I have to make some adjustment back. But that's okay, it's worth it. They are getting quite good. It's pretty awesome to see what they can create. All right, so I got the names in there for reference. And I'm just labeling my layers, which if you're working digitally, please save yourself a whole lot of pain and label your layers. Although that's not gonna save me from drawing on the wrong layer at some point tonight. I do my best, but I almost guarantee it's going to happen. Actually, we used to have a kind of a bingo card where you could always count on me doing at least two things every stream. One was the drawing on the wrong layer, and the second one was like managing to headbutt the microphone somehow. That one's a little bit, I've gotten a little better with it, but you know, it still happens sometimes. All right, so I'm gonna bring up my timer. The other thing about the warm-up is, of course, it's 5 minutes. It's not meant to be a perfect finished work of art. It's a sketch. It's really just to get us thinking shapes and warm up our arm, loosen everything up. So with that, I've got my timer up. I'm gonna go ahead and start it. So 5 minutes starts now. Okie dokes. Gonna continue to sorry, words. I'm gonna continue with my preference of using a non-black color for my sketch layer, just because I really like to have something kind of it's kind of a habit from when I used to draw comics and scan them in, because doing your sketches in blue and then inking over them with black, then the blue lines, when you scan it and convert to grayscale, they don't tend to show up as much. All right, so we're gonna kind of merge the two body shapes into a little bit of a flat bean. Okay, you know what? Let's do the neck a little bit differently. It's gonna be a little bit longer than Tyrantrum, but a little bit beefier than Salamence. Oh my gosh. kind of those big, powerful back legs. Stretch out, maybe make it like a little bit of a quadruped that could rear up on 2 legs in the back. Okay, the head I feel like is going to be the really kind of interesting part here. And as you can see, really what I'm doing first and foremost is focusing on these big shapes. It's always tempting to try to nail all the details right away. But if you do that, you tend to box yourself in a little bit, and it's better, I think, to figure out your big shapes that you want to work with first, and then, you know, bring it on down to the finer details as you wrap up. So they both have some similarities on the eyes here in terms of like a bit of a triangle shape. Give it like a little bit of the beard-like features. Round that nose out just a bit. Really the goal here is I'm trying to make it look, you know, feel like a merger of both. You can see what came from kind of each one. That's not terrifying. It's fine. It's fine. He's a friendly guy. Or she, honestly. Just a big, friendly, walking terror. So I'll probably just do one of these nose bars from Tyrantrum. I don't think we need to do them all. So then we'll keep some of this. And the only shape that we really haven't added in here is there's the collar and the wings. And I'm debating whether I want to try to do something clever there or just kind of get a little representation of each. Maybe make the legs here a little bit more bent so it's not quite as... Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, take that. I think I'll just do a light little collar here. They both have kind of the plate situation going on here. So get this tail in. Give it just a wee bit of spikies at the end, but nothing too intense. And then, oh man, timer's up. Okay. I'm just gonna get these little wingies on in here. Maybe get a little bit of a jagged edge just to get a little bit more of that Tyrantrum in, even though it doesn't really have wings. Okay. This is interesting. Bring that in with that. Okay. Well, so the goal is just to warm up a little bit, think about shapes, stuff like that. And it's always fun to have something you feel like you'd want to return to later. Oh, I forgot the most important part, combining the name. I like parts of this that I've come up with, especially like I feel like the head is doing all right. The rear legs, I'm pretty happy with how those are. The tail's okay. Wings are okay, but I could probably revisit. What I'm feeling unsure about is those front legs. They don't feel quite right. So if I ever came back to this, that would probably be my first stop in terms of what I would want to change. But overall, not bad. A pretty good exercise. Yeah, and it's serviceable. We'll go with serviceable. That's a good word for it. Change your font. Now, you know, there's a part of me that just wants to start with the first half of Tyranitar and end with, you know, Selma. So you get something like Tyramense, which is not bad. Honestly. But I kind of feel like I want to go with Cilantro because it sounds like cilantro, and that sounds funny to me. Just gonna go with that. We're gonna go with Cilantro. Okay. I will save this. I do enjoy keeping them around in case I want to reference them later. Also, my kids enjoy seeing what ridiculous things I've come up with. All right. Goodness, today it's March, y'all. Happy March 5th. Okay. Goodness, I have warm-ups here going back to July 6th, 2023. We're coming up on 3 years of streaming, y'all. Not that it's prolific, it's one night a week most weeks, but 3 years. That'll be coming up in January. July. That'll be coming up in July, which is not as far away as I would like to think it is. But anyway, okay. Warm up done. I feel pretty good. I feel adequately warmed up. So let's go ahead and jump in on the D&D piece. Refresher, this is where I'm at. So I'm trying to remember. I think I might have finished this character by last. No, I don't think I finished this character last time. I think I was working on the satyr over here. So I finished this character. This character I've inked. Put down flat colors, and now I'm in the process of shading. So that's where we're going to start tonight, but I did want to show kind of where the whole group is all together and where things stand, and how much is left. It'll be quick, I said. I'll be done before March starts, I said. Yeah. No worries. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to clear out... Nope, that isn't right. I'm going to clear out anybody that I'm not actively working on now, so we can just hop straight in. Focus on the one. Oop, missed one. Okay, and the background. All right. So this fellow is one of our more experienced players' characters. He's a druid. I think Circle of the Moon. This guy had a pretty solid idea of what he wanted his character to be from the get-go. So he had a really good description, a really thorough one, which I found helpful in general, in terms of trying to figure out what to make it look like. I'm a little bit torn, honestly, in terms of whether I find it better to have lots of detail or no detail. Because honestly, some of the characters where they gave me almost nothing, it was a lot of fun to see what I could come up with. But also some of these characters, like, these players have such a great imagination. Like, they are so good in terms of, like, knowing, like, they know what their character looks like, and they lay out the description so well, and it's cool to kind of see at least what I think is, you know, their vision really come to life. What I'm gonna do, I need to add, because the seam here doesn't make as much sense with the way that I have this part. So I'm just gonna give this a quick little thing so you can see it a little bit better. I know this is like the tiniest detail on a character, and there's part of me that wants to scream like, this doesn't matter. But it bugs me, so it matters. Nope, wrong layer. There we go. See? See? Okay, yep, that's right. And as I mentioned before, I'm using Clip Studio Paint. It is a delightful art program. And it's an art program that you can actually own when you pay for it. I mean, there's subscription options as well, but like, it's nice to be able to get the perpetual option, especially if you're largely working on one device. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't want to use this darker shade. I like to use like a not fully gray color for my shadows. And of course I use this on multiply as a layer just to kind of get that effect on the underlying color. It was actually really good good advice. I think I had first gotten it from one of the people in a critique group that I'd been a part of, and then I'd heard it again from one of the seminars from some professionals working in art and comics. But it's sometimes nice to have just not a straight up gray scale shadow on everything, even if you're using multiply. It's another quiet night tonight. That's okay. It was a full day in the Wagworks headquarters today. I've made it no secret that one of our kiddos has epilepsy. I mean, we go purple for all of Epilepsy Awareness Month in November. So it's no surprise probably, but one of the things that comes with epilepsy, I guess, management, as much as we could call it that, is that we have semi-regular MRIs like every year or two, just to make sure that, you know, nothing is changing in an alarming way or abnormal way. So this was an MRI morning, which means an early morning for whichever parent is taking the kid in, and kind of just a very off schedule day for everyone, and off routine. So Ashley was, you know, she was kind enough to be the parent who got up early and brought the kiddo in, but I think we're all, you know, just a little bit wiped from the whole day. Actually, usually, I mean, some nights nobody's asleep at this point in time. Like, kids are awake and I'm just like trying to do this while kids are calling, and Ashley's trying to help manage one of them and all that. But right now everybody's asleep. Before stream even started, I was the only waking one in the household, which is rare at 10 p.m. But it makes sense for the day. So I guess a quiet night is rather fitting when you think about it, just based on the kind of day it's been. I'm also a little bit brain tired just from the big thing I've been working on in my day job. I'm a meteorologist by schooling and by profession, but not like a TV meteorologist, although I did have aspirations to do that once at one time. There was a certain period of time where if you were watching Tallahassee, Florida local television, you would have seen me on the Florida State weather show. But that was, that was a while ago. At any rate, I work for a university that has like a cooperative agreement with the National Weather Service. So I do more research type work, developing tools that are there for the forecasters, both the National Weather Service forecasters and also the forecaster available for private industry as well. It's part of the services, that come with our taxes as American taxpayers. But so I have largely wrapped up work on one process that I kind of spun up and thought up a kind of unique way to do something, and now I'm writing a paper on it. This is my first journal article that I've tried writing, and I'm not much of an academic writer, so it doesn't come easily, and I've just working through the last of some edits from some collaborators and regenerating images, and it's a lot of back and forth and switching and trying to figure out the best way to address things, and all areas in which I am terrible. So that work does tend to wear me down rather rapidly as well. So, forgive my non-mastery of the English language tonight, if you will. Also, it feels like it's always when you are just about done with something that you run into like something that's like weird or inconsistent, and then you have to spend time digging through code and trying to make sure that everything is on the level, which thankfully it was. But also something I'm not particularly well geared for, although I guess when I'm locked in on it, I can go for a while with code stuff. One of the superpowers of ADHD: when something actually does catch your attention, you can hyperfocus. Whee! Maybe I'll give a little more roundness to the bottom of this boot, let it come up that way. Yeah. Fix you. Okay. There would be, because I have the light coming slightly from the right hand side, there would be a little bit of a shadow on this guy. I don't know, my artists out there, do you always draw the light from the same angle? Or do you have a tendency to do that when you're not in a scene that forces you to draw it in a specific direction? Because I sure do. I tend to always put my light source in the same spot, which in some ways is super convenient, until you have to draw it another way, and then you're like, wait, I don't draw the shadows on this side? Okay. All right, that's okay. So part of the reason that that's okay is the fact that this is not, even when I finish this kind of cell shaded very like hard shadows type of situation. That is not the end of this. If you noticed in the finished ones, I like to, for this illustration, I've been kind of softening the shadows, a lot of them, and giving them a little more of a little more smooth and gradiated appearance. Yeah. Oh, I should use the darker purple on that. Yeah. Okay, I haven't done any of the hair yet. And this cloak needs some more shadow over here. This would overlap. There would be like this little bit, make this guy bigger. There'd be this overlap right here. I'm really impressed by the people who can do almost entirely flat colors art, and like it still pops so well. It's definitely a skill to learn how to do more with less. If left to my own devices, I will legit try to shade everything as much as I can. So I do have to be a little bit of a watchdog on myself and not let perfect be the enemy of good, as they say. Okay, doing all right here. Okay, let's do that. Okay, there. Okay, I need to come back to this. Kind of cool. No, I did get it. All right. I got it mostly. I thought I hadn't finished this one yet, but I did do most of it. Okay. Oh yeah, and I got to get the textures in here. Okay, so Jeff, here's what the thing is that you need to not do is over detail this, because you don't have to draw every tuft of hair. I'm saying this to myself because you know exactly what I'm going to do if I don't. Yeah, excuse me a second. Okay, better. If I don't stay aware, I will absolutely go nuts on the shading and over detail. Not that that's always bad. Like, I've seen some artists who do incredible detail work. Who is the guy who does Isle of Elsie? He did a seminar for Kids Comics Unite, and like, man, one of the pieces he showed, I mean, he was on, actually the point he was making was that he overdid the detail on it. But there's this illustration where he like hand textured the bark on a tree, and it was so good, so detailed, and so like beautiful. It was pretty amazing. Although when you're doing like especially comics, that level of detail is completely unsustainable, which is kind of his point. This I think is okay. Maybe a little more than is necessary. What's the other one? Ken Lamug. Yeah, he did. Here, one second. I'll hop back into the bigger view so you can actually see what I'm showing you. He did this book, Petro and the Flea King. He actually kickstarted this one, but man, it's so like so good, and the details he did on some of these pages are just incredible. Like the texturing he did with just the inks, like look at on the house, like I love that. Yeah, and like look at these lines, like the hatching he did, like just to shade the tree there. Like, man, there was one that was really just breathtaking with like the level of shading, and I'm trying to find where it was, whether that was in this book or that was in the second one. Just a second. Up. Might have actually been in the second one, but this, like the detailing he does in inks is incredible. Not entirely to argue against my own point, but it can look really good. But in this case, it's not what I'm going for. Just a second. Just watching a kid on monitor, making sure they're all is well. It is. We're good. Pretty good with that, and then the hand is not really shaded at all. All of this would be dark. Are okay, that's all right. Actually, if the light's coming from above, this finger would also be totally in the shade, so let's fix that. Cool. All right, and this darker shading on that one. I probably did. Yeah, let's go ahead. This will show up better on the blue anyway. I do love like when you're shading stuff and just how you get to see things that you in your mind know, kind of the dimensionality of it, right? But you get to see it start to kind of just like leap off the page a little bit. It's very cool. It feels like a magic trick every time a little bit. And I've been doing this for a while, so Maybe that says more about me than about it, but yeah. Yeah. All right. Think in terms of getting the basic shading down, I think the hair is like the last thing. Do I want the lighter or the darker? I think the lighter is good. All right, so there's that. A little bit volume here and a little bit of texture. And when I get to the shading part, it always feels a little bit zen for me. It just because it feels like, I don't know, it's all based on intuition and like shape and just kind of like, okay, well, I think if the light were here, it would do this. And even though it's kind of decision making, there's kind of just like a natural flow feel to it. I don't know, for me at least, that's where I get with it. It just kind of makes sense. And also there's something like really satisfying of just, again, seeing like the volume and the texture come in and really kind of feeling like it's all coming together. Oh my gosh, I just did like inadvertent Kronk quote. Oh yeah. It's all coming together. No, yeah, I did color the teeth. Great. Good, great, wonderful. By color the teeth, I mean actually fill them in white and not leave them as just like unfilled. Okay. So. Oh, this edge is bothering me. And there's nothing quite like seeing something feel anchored in a place and feel just real when it starts to have like a volume feel to it, like a depth to it, I guess I'd say. I don't know, that's just me, perhaps. Okay, so now that I've got kind of these sharper edged colors in, I'm gonna come in and start laying down, like smoothing it a little bit. I'm just using a simple like blur edge brush for this. You can use a lot of different tools for it. You can use I mean, I could have done this whole thing with like a simple like round brush or watercolor type brush. If I'd used, like, though, there's actually some really good watercolor blending brush tools in Clip. You could also alternately, if you wanted to do more of a additive thing where you're actually kind of extending the shadows a little bit by layering down some light colors to it. You can use the airbrush tool. As well. There's a lot of different options and ways to do this. This one I feel like makes the most sense, and the way that I tend to think about shadows when I'm putting in like the hard shadows, this doesn't extend the shaded area more than I want it to. So that's why I tend to use the blend brush. But it's different for everybody, honestly, what you prefer and what makes sense for how you kind of see things. I think that's one of the things that I do enjoy. Coming from like the scientific world, both like from education and professionally, where it's like, no, there's a right answer. There may be multiple right answers, but like there's a very objective way to prove everything. In fact, that's entirely the goal. It's not subjective, it's not opinion, no, this is just how it works. But it's cool because when you get then switching gears and coming over to art, it's like, okay, what works for one person may work for another, what looks good to one person may not look good to another. Like, it's all, I think, much freer, much more open in that way, which is cool. And I appreciate that it is the way it is for science. I think it's very important that it's that way for science. But it's also nice to kind of feel like I get to loosen up and come out of those boundaries a little bit. And so you can see this kind of just gives the shadows a little bit of a lighter, softer feel to them. Probably gonna come in, I might add a little bit. Lay down a little bit of darker here at just the very edge on some of these, and then blend that in. This is kind of an iterative process. And again, where I want the, well, not again, and where I want the edges to be, to be a little bit tighter, I just do a smaller brush size, which is probably pretty intuitive to everybody. But you know how it goes. So part of what I'm doing on this is like where I've got a more gentler rounded shape that I'm trying to give depth on, I'm using like a wider blend tool brush. Things that are more of a hard cast shadow, I still don't want everything to have like a super sharp line to it, which is funny because I do a lot of art that style, but for this one I'm not doing it that way. But I'm using a smaller brush so that even though it's not a hard line, the gradient is tighter, which gives the feel of, okay, this is something that's the shadow is being cast from something that's much closer. Every now and then, though, the blend brush does kind of pull in some lighter colors that shouldn't be there. So I'm just fixing that. But yeah, you can already kind of see how this starts to, like, softening it starts to really give the feel of some roundness and things. Kind of just bringing it a little bit more depth. And like edging it a little bit more towards the realistic style, even though it's still fairly comic-y, cartoony when you really think about it. seems like we may not get to see Frank or Fallen tonight. I hope they're doing all right. Frank's been pretty wiped lately. Hope everybody's good. Now this doesn't have like a perfectly smoothly rendered approach to doing it. It does have sometimes streaks or little lines, discontinuities, I guess you'd call them. But what I like about it is it almost gives it a little bit of a painterly feel, even though that is not really what I did here. How are we coming along? Okay. Still lots to blend in here. We're doing okay. I'm overall pretty satisfied with how this is going. Okay. Where do I want to smooth down things next? Probably go over here. Any Final Fantasy VII fans in the house? Another thing that I will do is I will also add a layer of highlights on top of this all, so that way we'll still get that, we'll get a little more depth additionally, since, you know, our eyes are basically just judging contrast between lights and darks to kind of tell us the depth of things. But adding a highlight is a good way to keep adding depth without having to push things too dark. Although one of the things that I would love to do a piece that kind of plays around with using more just straight up black for shadowing. That is such a good skill, and it's so common in like comics and manga. But I don't know why I always feel like I'm hesitant to do it. I could do more of that. It would be cool. Okay, we're getting that depth in there just a bit. Use an even smaller one here just to kind of give us a little bit of a line without doing too much. Just round out that bottom since this is supposed to be like leather armor. I do absolutely love that this cover of the song is on like Video Game Study Lounge from Game Chops. This is Girl from Ipanema by Stan Getz, and oh my gosh, I'm not gonna try. I haven't looked at the name of the other person who is a part of the song, and I know I'm going to mispronounce it because I'm guessing they were probably Brazilian, and I don't want to butcher it. But anyway, it's a good one. I like this one. It's just I always love the fact that it's on this channel. Okay. Slowly but surely. Actually, I can probably use a bigger blend here. Make these guys a little... Oh, I do think 10 is too big on this. I always rate... That's the one thing. Even though this is like a 300 DPI illustration on a whole piece of paper, you know, you have 11, 8.5 by 11. I always forget. Still, these lines are like 3-point lines. Like everything is pretty tiny just because it had to be to fit this whole party. But yeah, just the bigger one on this shadow just to make sure I'm rounding it out nicely. And I can go smaller for this stuff. And I am seeing that we've hit 11 o'clock. So this is my time that I usually take my first break of the night. I am gonna do that. So this will be just a few minutes, probably 2 to 5 minutes. Test list is a little bit low, a little bit high. Yeah, so I'm gonna put you guys on. Be right back. While I go stand up, stretch. Put away my coffee mug, get some water, and then we'll pick back up in just, probably 2 to 5 minutes. I will run a 1-minute ad roll while we're here, but that's also just to help cut out pre-rolls. So feel free to get up, take a break. I hope to see you back in just a few minutes. Until then, have a good break. All right, we're back. I hope you all had a good break. I did. I feel moderately refreshed. Short rest. D&D joke. I'm wondering if maybe I should put up and get navigator view up. Because I'm pretty zoomed in on details right now, so it's maybe not quite as easy to see what's going on. The big picture, so maybe I'll turn that on. Just a second. Pop, 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 pop. Pop. Use him in navigator view. No, navigator will only show the whole picture. Okay. That's fine. It's fine. How's this looking for y'all? Pretty good, decent, reasonable, acceptable. Maybe I'll skew. Nope, that's not right. Tell you what, there's not a lot happening in chat right now. Maybe I'll. Maybe I'll toss it down here. I think that works. Okay. How's that looking for you? I realized that I wasn't even showing what I was doing. Yeah, so now I can kind of see where I am and what I am working on a little better. I like to bring this view up every now and then for y'all, but sometimes it kind of gets in the way. I think tonight's a good night for it. I like how in the navigator view you can't really see what if any difference this is making because it's so zoomed out. Like maybe that could be telling me something about whether I should be doing it for the entire piece, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Always fine. Okay. Where to shade next? Work through this cloak a little bit. Okay. And I am doing like a little bit of painting kind of with the blend tool. Maybe that's not the best word for it, but like I am kind of using it to fill in little bits of things that and add little nuances to lines to give it a little bit like especially with fabrics, it's good for doing that kind of gentle foldy feel. Foldy, it's not the word I'm looking for. Anyway, I'm not only straight blurring the edges of lines. I am actually doing something else with it too. You know, it's funny. A couple weeks ago, was it? I think it was a couple weeks ago. I got 2 like raids within like almost at the same time, like literally within 30 seconds of each other. I think I had my like record number of viewers in this in this stream at once, and it's been since then just remarkably quiet. It's been some very, very quiet nights. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago even. I don't know, maybe it's a karmic tax, but it's not bad, because honestly, as much as I enjoy streaming for y'all, I do this a lot for me. Like, I just like having this dedicated time to do art, and I like being here, and when folks do come by, I like being able to chat with them. Most people that come by are other artists, and so we get kind of a little bit of like an art studio vibe. They're working while they're watching stream a little bit. It's really cool, and I just like the chance to be here and share this with y'all. And I think it's kind of cool when I get to like sort of look at what I've done over the years on stream and how I've grown and all that business. It's kind of cool. But honestly, it's like one of the hidden advantages that I never fully expected when I started streaming was that, like, you know, we've got 2 kids. We live a fairly full, busy life. Stream just became this dedicated art work time that I just had every week, and it's not always easy to get 2 hours straight time working on art stuff. You know, that's pretty much like I'll work usually from the sofa in the evening when Ash and I are watching TV. I'll, you know, sometimes on weekends especially if like the kids are playing video games and like I kind of want to low-key watch, but they don't really want to play with me. Like they're doing their own thing. I'll, you know, bring the computer over and sit and work for an hour or 2. Sometimes I'll squeeze in an extra hour in there. Sitting, you know, one of the kids loves doing domino topples, so that's, you know, also sitting and watching them do that while I work. You know, I'll squeeze into where I can, but it's still really uncommon to get 2 consecutive hours of just straight art work time. So having this time on stream, where it's just every week, this is what I'm doing, has been a real boon for just getting things done. And even when I am fairly successful at having some art time, it's allowed me to work on other projects, like kind of have a secondary project going. That's how I've done a majority of the work on a lot of my GDQ pieces in the last few years. Is I've used stream as a great chance to do that, and it lets me finish it lets me share it with you guys, and then my art time during the rest of the week may be on things like, say, CoreToons, or, you know, when we were doing a bit more with our graphic novel pitch packets, doing sample pages for those. And every now and then I'll get the odd pet art commission, which I do enjoy doing those too. So I work on those during like my main art time, and then, you know, work on fan art or GDQ donations or things like that during stream. Or like lately, I've also had the tendency to pick up like a whole bunch of things at once. So then it's been, you know, CoreToons is a thing I can be doing on stream when I'm doing, you know, superhero project was one. What was some of the other recent ones that I took on? I feel like there are several things where I like took on like three pretty large art projects all at the same time. And a CoreToons is usually one of those projects, but yeah, it's just I tend to do that, and so it's kind of nice having that dedicated time that I can actually split projects, or that I can just use to get further on one project if that's what I feel like. It's a real benefit. Anyway, that's a really long way of saying that I enjoy doing this. It's nice when I have my usual folks in chat. It's nice when I get surprised and have a lot of folks, but I'm probably going to be doing it anyway regardless. It's just nice. You can't stop me, you hear that? I don't know, I would like to dedicate a little more time to streaming. I think it's hard to build much of an audience when you don't have a really reliable presence. But you know, family's always going to come first on that front. It's not really. I'm not really flexible on that, which is fine. I do what I can. Okay, we are getting there. So I am coming in and adding just like a little bit of that darker shading color because I want to add just a little more depth to this. Looking at it from like a little bit of a distance, it's feeling just a bit flat to me, so. And really this is, I can't remember whether this one came before the lighter one or after, but basically they're, you know, they are very related tones. They're just, the darker one is more saturated and a little like lower value brightness than the lighter one. There, it's just a little more depth, and there's a few places I want to smooth out just a tad, but It's already, in my mind, looking a lot better. Just feel like it needed that extra bit of contrast to kind of help push it over. Yeah, I need a little touch right here. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's kind of bring these guys together. Yeah. This to me feels better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I am not done yet. There's still more to shade, or more to blend in here. Okay, save. Right. Doing okay here. Alright, I feel like that's pretty okay. I feel like that's pretty okay. So speaking of D&D, this art is actually from our last campaign that we finished. Hey, thanks. Should I call you Cyber? Should I call you Link? What do you prefer? And also, welcome on in. How are you doing tonight? So yeah, these are characters from Sir Dunk is fine. Okay. Sir Dunk, how's it going? Welcome on in. Just doing some coloring and shading on, basically I've got this piece that's an illustration, a group shot of our entire library D&D crew, which is 23 characters and familiars all together. but I'm working on just one character at a time, so that's why you don't see everybody. But it's coming along. Got quite a few to do, but I've got like 12 done already. Not too bad. Pretty happy with how it's coming together. Has the D&D run started? Yeah, this actually is, so some of these characters are still being played. This is actually from a campaign that we finished. We've kind of continued, what we're on now is kind of a continuation of the campaign. I actually decided to create a new character for this kind of new segment of it for fun, but some folks are, here I can show you everybody. we got a couple people. Yeah, like we just ran Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Yeah, but anyway, I'm kind of started in the front row here, and I'm working my way across, trying to get everybody. But yeah, it was fun. I collected character descriptions from everyone in the party. And yeah, it's been a cool character design exercise. Some of these characters are very specific, and some of them they just gave me almost no detail, and I had to figure it out how to make it look cool. Oh no, we don't stream the campaign. The campaign is actually run by our local one of the local branches of the Orange County, Florida Library. So we don't stream it. This is just me streaming the art that I'm working on for it. So do you like to watch a lot of D&D here on Twitch? I know I do as well. All right, let's get back to this guy. Okay, yep, wrong layer. That's the way. One thing it's cool, but also kind of interesting about the campaign is that it's very much because of the size, it's very much a drop in, drop out campaign. So, you know, obviously the party changes every time we meet. We have a lot of returning folks, but we also get a lot of new people pretty frequently, which is cool. Oh, cool. Well, welcome to Twitch Life. It's good. Yeah, obviously when you're talking... Oh, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. It's obviously when you're here on Twitch, if you're talking D&D live plays, the big one of course is Critical Role. They stream at the same time as me, honestly. Which when I first started streaming 3 years ago, I hadn't been as big into watching D&D here on Twitch, so I wasn't as aware. But there's actually quite a bit on here. It's neat if you look it up, if you like watching it live, like live plays. But yeah, I do love the art community on Twitch. There's always something cool going on. Yeah, are you an artist as well? Well, I mean, hey, the big thing is that you're making stuff out there and sharing it. If you want to put in a link, I do have link sharing on right now. You're welcome to do that. I do like to give folks the opportunity to share their art. The main caveat is that this is, I try to keep things family friendly, so PG if possible. PG-13 is acceptable, but aside from that, I do like for folks to share their links so anybody watching can kind of go check them out. And thank you for the compliment, by the way. I think it's all subjective, honestly, because I know there's a lot of artists out there that I watch and I'm like, wow, I'm nowhere near as good as them. So it's all good. And honestly, I think if we all just keep at it, we're all growing, right? So do you work mostly digitally? Excellent. All right, hold on. Let me pause for a second. Procreate, yeah. I mean, so I got out of the iPad arena right before Procreate came out, so I've never actually gotten to work on it. But I know so many artists who do stuff, and even like professional stuff on Procreate. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Hold on. You're very kind with your words, but I might have a slightly different opinion on our relative skill level. This is excellent. You're very talented. Holy moly. I love some of these inks. Whoa, just the detail. Hold on. Do you want me to share anything? Because I'm happy to share on stream. If you'd rather not, that's okay too. Yeah, wow, your textures are so good. Yeah, okay, well, cool. Yeah, let me just bring this up real quick because this is really good. Hold on, let me pull this up in OBS real quick. Nope, that wasn't it. Hold on a second, where did you go? All right, hold on a second. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right. Sometimes it just has to think for a little bit. Let me just trim this window a little bit. Just, wow, man, this is... Yeah, here, everybody, this is what I'm talking about. Like, check this out. Like, look at these textures. Wow, I love this. Also, who doesn't love an armadillo with a mustache? That's great. Also, kudos to you for doing Inktober. I have such a hard time keeping up with it. I tried it literally once and I fell behind almost immediately. This is so good. Yeah, dude. Do you have a favorite piece that you've done? And also these character sheets, holy moly. Are you working like on a comic piece or an animation? You've noped out of Inktober so many times. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big commitment, honestly. I'm always impressed by the people who do that and stick with it. Wow, and your painting is like, wow, man. The last one is an animation. Is it, so this one over, wait, this one? Whoa. So are you a professional animator? Yo. Your second one. Wow. Wow. It takes, yeah. I've done some like really basic animation stuff in Clip Studio, but man, yeah, that came out so well. Well, very cool. Like, thank you for sharing. And hey, I am flattered that you came to hang out. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, of course. I mean, hey, give credit where it's due, right? Yeah, I don't know what your art background is. I know I am a self-taught artist for the most part. I work a day job in meteorology, but like the programming side of that. So I always feel like there's so much that I still have to learn. So do you stream as well? Thanks. Yeah, I'm a bit of a weather nerd. But it's kind of amazing. I feel like, especially since my current job, I'm focused more on the technical side of things. I've lost touch with a lot of the actual meteorology side of it. But some of the folks in my office are just like, wow, they know their stuff, and it's really, really cool. Even as largely technical, as a largely technical group. No social skill. I mean, you're pleasant to talk to, at least via the chat. So, you know, don't sell yourself short. Actually, I would totally say, if you ever had any hopes or thoughts of doing it, it's worth a shot. It's worth trying. I've been streaming for like 2.5 years now, and you know, because I have a day job and 2 kids, like I don't do a lot to grow the channel, but I enjoy it. I think I stream a lot for me, but it is cool to get to chat with the people that come by, and it's a lot of artists, which is fun. I feel like that's I mean, it makes sense. That's probably who would most commonly check out the art category. and take the time to come hang out at a channel that's a lot smaller, but yeah, it's cool. Soften some of these lines a little bit. second. I mean, some are paywalled if you want, like, depending on what you want. I think there's a lot that are completely free for what most, like, the average person will need. I work, I do research, like, for a university, but we have a cooperative agreement with the National Weather Service, and all of their products are disseminated to the American people absolutely free. So I'm probably a little bit biased towards the National Weather Service in that regard. I mean, not to mention the fact that, like, you're not going to find many other forecasting offices that literally have regional offices across the United States. Like, it's a huge undertaking. So you end up getting a lot of local expertise it's hard to come by. Yeah, so National Weather Service is a part of NOAA. Because NOAA also has like oceans and fisheries and all of that, in addition to the weather side of things. Okay, so that's good. Let's jump over to this side. But yeah, if you just go to, like, weather.gov, like, that's, you can, you know, punch in your zip code and get free forecasts. I think some of the other apps, like, if you pay for them, you'll get maybe, like, the real-time lightning data, so you can actually see where the flashes are in your area. Most places charge for that kind of thing because it costs them money to get the data, but you'd be surprised how much meteorological data is actually free, but it's usually, like, in specialized formats, so you know, you have to be able to get it and decode it. But you can still sometimes look at images from models, or, you know, get, again, like, simple forecasts from places like, you know, the Weather Company, from AccuWeather, from again, I'm very biased towards the National Weather Service. You know, I've also back in school, I got to do a summer internship for credit at one of the forecast offices. So, you know, you get to see how they work and see the expertise and knowledge, like, in play, and it's really impressive. Yeah, what I think is funny is that when, you know, I got into meteorology because, you know, I enjoy actual weather, and, like, I was, like, into the idea of storm chasing. I didn't, you know, when I was in high school age, I didn't do it or have many opportunities to do it. But, like, yeah, so, you know, you think, like, oh yeah, I want to, you know, it's all about the weather and seeing all this cool stuff. But then, like, I got to school, and, like, my first meteorology class was, like, in a room that had no windows. I'm like, well, how can we're not even going to see outside? But it's a lot of physics, and it's a lot of math. It was maybe not quite what I expected, but I, you know, still enjoyed it. And there was a short time where I was going to be where I wanted to go into broadcast meteorology, so I was going to be on TV. I had a plan to spend a year, like, add a minor to my degree, and then spend a year building up my audition tapes by being on the local, the university weather show. Because it's, you know, there, when you're talking TV, it's not just not just resume. There's a lot of weight put on your, you know, your audition tapes. They want to see what you can do and whether you're, you know, entertaining to watch, all that kind of thing. But yeah, we even had a class on weather casting. You need to learn to dance to be a weatherman in 20. I think you're right, honestly. I don't know if college me would have been up for the challenge. I mean, I would have tried. I don't know how great I would have been. Yeah. I think we had I took an actual class in school for weather casting, and I think the best compliment I got from my professor there was that I was very non-threatening, which I'll take it. Like, you don't want to be a threatening weatherman, but it's not exactly like a glowing review. But it was kind of fun. Like, when I did a few times, I was on the university weather show, just on like local TV. It's really interesting when you get up there and you're really like in front of the big national map, and you have to like point and explain, and you're looking in the monitors and everything's kind of reversed, and you have to. It's a real skill set. Not just navigating all that. Like, weather broadcasters have to know, you know, how to communicate everything, and really get the true like risk across to the public. So it's not easy stuff, but it's very cool. Maybe doing art on Twitch is how I ended up scratching that itch. Okay, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. I do not think I'm going to start inking the next character tonight. I had high hopes, but I haven't even laid down my my lighting layer yet, so that seems unlikely. Soften this one up a little bit. All right, what do we got left? Always smart. Yes, that's true. Kind of add a little more depth here. So let's do this. Brush on that. Come in here and just blend that in a bit. I have my character penciled. I haven't colored him yet. My character is. Where are you? This is him, Gorbin Greyrock. He is an orc, and he is a wild magic barbarian, but he thinks he's a wizard, and he just has angry magic. With a wild magic, I don't know if you've played wild magic barbarian before. When you rage, random magical effects happen, which was kind of interesting. It was actually kind of funny. The campaign that I created him for, I didn't realize it, but it's one that you can almost entirely play through pacifist. So we went through a good chunk of the campaign. And we didn't get into combat. It was funny because I was a cleric in the last campaign, and so I was like, okay, finally someone who's good at combat, all right. And we didn't do any combat. It was kind of funny. So do you play D&D as well? All right, I'm gonna start a lighting layer because I think we're almost there. I think we're ready for that. I might go back and touch up the shadows, but for now, I'm pretty happy with this. So we'll go soft light, grab my highlight color. I like to use something that's complementary to my shadow color. Get a little bit on the cheeks here. Maybe I'll go ahead and start smoothing this one in. Alright, it always looks a little bit odder, I think, with the highlights, especially like on the face, if you don't blend them in a little bit as they go. I'm not doing anything big here, just want it to be subtle little bit of depth that we add. Oh, that's right, you said that, I'm sorry. I've heard so much good stuff about Baldur's Gate. I don't get as much gaming time as I'd like, so I haven't had a chance to try it out. But yeah, literally everything I've heard about it has been that it's excellent. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. So have you played through like more than once? Like, have you been trying out like different classes, different character combinations? Oh, nice. Have you had like a favorite build so far? Paladin Druid. Ooh, that's kind of fun. You're kind of evil. Evil Paladin Druid. That is a fun build. I think it sounds like Baldur's Gate does well. One of the things that I think D&D, and role-playing games in general, but especially D&D type stuff, do really well of like letting you just try out, like play around with different types of characters, like different personalities, and they may not reflect you entirely, but oh, you're an Oathbreaker Paladin. Cool. Paladin is one class that one of the classes that I haven't played yet, but I think I was gonna multi-class my cleric into that once I hit level 4. But that's when we finished that campaign, which was my first one. All right, let's see. All right, getting there. It's a good start. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the bits. Oh my gosh. Wow, I really appreciate it. Yeah, well, I love what some of the clerics can do with, or not some of the paladins can do with their auras. Like, that's always, I thought those were some super cool abilities. I think they can really, like, complement a cleric's skill set. Actually, there's a guy in our D&D group, he was saying, like, he plays Baldur's Gate as well, and was saying that he had heard that clerics are pretty powerful in the game, but he hadn't quite figured out how to build it or how to use them correctly yet. All right. Just a little bit down here. And he's there. Wash that one out a little bit. Okay. All right, we're coming along. We are coming along. So I know we are coming up pretty quickly on my usual end of stream time here. I'm on the East Coast here in the States, I'm in Orlando area, Florida. So I do typically end stream around midnight. Sometimes I get a little bit caught up in what I'm doing and go along, but I will be wrapping up pretty soon here. Just a heads up. starting to get a little texture in there. I definitely, for me at least, this is always like a very iterative process. Like I always feel like add a little bit, see how it looks, go back, add more. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. Thanks for the sub. It's been really good chatting with you. Yeah, I definitely hope to see you again. I hope you have a good night and a good day at work tomorrow. Good week, yeah. I'm just gonna blend these last highlights in, and I think I'm gonna wrap it here. Okay, I do think, you know, I'm gonna come back and continue on highlighting and shadowing the hair, maybe adding a little more texture. Right now it looks fairly solid. Hair does not work entirely this way, although it's starting to look at least something like it. All right, okay, so gonna save here, and we're gonna hop back to chatting view, and we'll just, yeah, I'll wrap up. Well, cool. Well, hey everybody, thanks for coming by tonight. This is what's fun about Twitch, is you can be having a quiet night and then end up having like a great conversation, meet someone new. You never quite know. I've definitely had my share of quiet streams too, but that's good. Yeah, well, I had fun. I feel like I made good progress on this tonight. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along. I'm gonna keep chipping away at those 23 characters. We'll get there eventually. I am trying to get this done. Our game's on like a sort of hiatus right now. The librarian who runs it is transferring to a new library that's being built. But the library's not done yet. So we've had a couple of pop-up games that we filled in. So I'm trying to get this done before the new library opens in our first game over there. I think I can do it if I just keep going. I do need to get back to our CoreToons comic at some point in the very near future, but I need to talk with Ashley about some of those revision ideas as well before I do that. At any rate, I think we're in a good place with this tonight. It came out well. So that's gonna be it from me. My usual schedule, I'm right here. I'm here weekly, Thursday nights, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific. That's my usual stream time. I mean, we had a little bit of a inconsistency during the holiday stretch, but it should be back to a lot more standard, regular streams and presence now. And on top of that, I'm still trying to find a time to do an extra stream or two. I do like doing this. As I was saying earlier, if you like our work, you can check out our socials over at we're WagWorksGA. We work primarily on, well, honestly, Instagram we haven't posted to for a minute. Hopefully we'll get back there eventually, but I'm not in a super rush. So really, if you want to see stuff, see what we're up to here on Twitch and over on YouTube, where I have archives of the streams, probably the best places to do it. We also have been updating stuff a little bit on our website. Ashley's been updating stuff. You can actually see this piece, individual character portraits of these characters that I'm working on, get kind of the latest progress report on it, as well as check out some of my other pieces and series, that like the Chinese zodiac animals that I do every year. Those are all up there. Ashley updated that. But yeah, you can kind of check out all that to see what we're up to, what we have been up to. And you can also, that's over on our website, WagWorksGA. I do actually have a shop, so if you, well, I've got a few digital prints if you're looking for just something simple, Also, we're offering some of the prizes that I've offered for games done quick in previous years. Prints are getting those, custom pieces. That's like blankets, towels. We've got a cool chandelier tote that I'm pretty proud of. But that's all over there. We have a blog, but we haven't updated that because I think a lot of our time goes to CoreToons, which is good because it's like one of our favorite things to do. And speaking of CoreToons, you've probably seen the message already, but feel free to check out CoreToons.substack.com. We actually have a website now too. I need to update this command, but that's hold up. I'm gonna get the proper link on in here. You can find us at lovereading.co/CoreToons, and I'll put that right here as well, so you can check that out. The Substack's a little quiet right now, but we are working on building up the website. That's where we're hosting the digital magazine. We're getting an issue out about every 2 months or so, which we did plan for 6 issues in a year. So that's been pretty cool. I think that's about it. I will, even though we didn't get to see Frank tonight, unfortunately, I will go ahead and give him a quick plug. You should go check out Frank, our awesome moderators, comics, Loosey Goosey over at Instagram. So that's instagram.com/looseygooseycomic. Go check it out. It's a great comic. He does good work. That guy. Okay. Yeah. So I think that covers everything, guys. I don't have any other updates to give currently, so that's it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining, whether you were here chatting or whether you were lurking or whether you're watching the VOD of this on Twitch or on YouTube. I just appreciate your support. I love doing this, and while I would probably just do it for myself anyway, it means a lot that you came to spend some time with me and let me share this with you. So thank you very much. Feel free to leave a like, a follow, a subscribe, a comment, whatever is appropriate for the platform that you're on, whatever you feel moved to do. Those things are always appreciated, never expected. So just thank you for your support, everybody. I will be back next Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, I hope you all have a great night. I hope you all have a great week. And good night. Bye, guys.